This is the Entrepreneur Unleashed Show, episode 69 with Vanessa Shaw. Hi, I'm Patty Keating, and I believe entrepreneurs are the future of the world. Over the past 2 decades, I've built 4 businesses in alignment with my values, giving me the freedom to live where I want and do what I love. I'm here to tell you that creating your successful business does not require struggle or sacrifice. So, how do you create the lifestyle business you love doing only what you love? Welcome to the Entrepreneur Unleashed podcast. I'm so excited to bring you Vanessa Shaw today. She's a highly accredited and internationally recognized business success coach. Her mission is to impact the lives of 1 million businesses by coaching them to be bold and play bigger in both their life and their business. She's originally from the UK, with most of her life lived in Europe. Vanessa has more than a decade of experience working with business leaders ranging from startups to billion-dollar companies. Welcome, Vanessa.
Oh, thank you, Patty. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here too. Let's just dive right in. Is there anything you'd like to add? I give you a brief, introduction, but anything you'd like to let people know about you?
Oh my gosh. You know what, actually, listening to that, what I think is now, my passion for helping people and really helping people create success on their own terms in business, it's just not going away. In fact, I think I'm fanning that flame, like it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So it's just stuff, it's the stuff that gets me out of bed every morning. It gets my team excited. I think it's really the stuff that makes our life juicy and exciting. So that's the piece I would add to that.
Awesome. I love that so much. So let's talk about, you've got some experience behind you. What inspired you to start your business?
Gosh, kind of goes way back when, because I have actually been in this now and I keep forgetting to add up the years. I'm actually coming up for nearly 16 years in business by myself now that we're 2020 or halfway through. Awesome. And the truth is there were kind of 2 things. One is I had a dream ever since I was a little girl and probably around the age of 8 or 9 that I wanted to be my own boss. I was probably a little bit bossy because that's what we called little girls back then. And I wanted to run my own business. I had no idea what that really meant. And I also knew back then that anything I did had to make a difference in people's lives. And I probably was 9. And then as things go, that dream was just buried over the years. And I went on a path of all the things I thought I should be doing and perhaps what other people thought I should be doing. And, kind of fast forward from there, gosh, probably a good 20 years. I'd have to do the maths on that. I was in Switzerland, met and married my husband over there. Both my children were born in Switzerland, and I had been a stay-at-home mum supporting him in a very international career. And I was like, I need to get back to work. I want to go back to work. And that was the time when I actually retrained and became a life coach, which is back in around 2004, something like that. And it was like, I'm going to go into business for myself. So, that was the spirit. It kind of, came full circle. And back then, all I wanted really was a handful of clients. And I'm not embarrassed to say that my financial goals were very small for my business. My first monthly goal, Patty, was like $500. And back then, being a stay-at-home mom, I was like, gosh, if I could create $500 for myself, that would make a difference. That would be kind of fun money. And I wanted to buy myself handbags with it. That's kind of how I got started.
We get our inspiration and it goes where it will, right? Those handbags had a bigger purpose for you, maybe.
They did. They actually did. And I still like buying them today.
Yeah. So what kind of obstacles did you bump into once you started to grow?
Gosh, multiple. Where to start? I think, there's always the mindset. I know you and I both believe in a lot of that internal work and mindset and everything. And just not having my own internal world aligned with what I wanted to create in the outside world. So I think, there were some pretty significant obstacles there that I had to work through. One was around, I used to call myself the queen of self-doubt. I was second guessing everything. Like there was just a lot of self-doubt, and, could I really do what like the desire was inside, but was I really capable? Like Vanessa Shaw, could she really achieve that? So that was definitely a big obstacle. And I suffered dreadfully with imposter syndrome for many years. And really, my whole thing in my head was they're gonna find out. I was working with a lot of top corporate executives back then, and my biggest fear was they're gonna find out I'm a stay-at-home mom, that I'm just good at making cupcakes and like running a family home. I know nothing about their world. I know nothing about business. And kind of like in my mind, it was like the fraud police were gonna come and actually arrest me, right? And my secret was gonna be up. So I had to do a lot of work around that, to really integrate that, because I don't think you can't deny it. It's not going to go away, but work of integrating so it wouldn't hold me back.
Yes.
And then really later, my I'd say the third piece that really for me was a massive piece, which is again, something I help our own clients with now, was around my own money mindset. I kind of had dealt with those demons, so to speak. And then the next big one for me was I nearly found myself going bankrupt at one point. I'd lost a massive contract. I hadn't been looking at the numbers in my business. I'd been spending it and living a nice lifestyle until my accountant said, you are going to head into bankruptcy here, which was a massive wake up call. But beyond that is I discovered that my own sense of self-worth, the amount that I could create, my own financial thermostat, so to speak, was again set at a level that I really wasn't breaking through. So that's become years and years of work, and I don't think it's ever done. We're always peeling back, the onion, so to speak. But that was the kind of three big things I've had. I think the internal obstacle.
I think those are three things that many entrepreneurs experience. And really have to learn how to move through. And then, we get through to that next level, and then there's another one. Like you're saying, you're peeling the onion, but every time you go up and you reach your goals, then it's like, oh, here I am again.
Yeah.
So how did you move through the challenges? What kept you going? What kind of tools did you use?
Yeah, so again, because I think that is the key to it. First and foremost, I think it was having coaches myself. I've always had coaches, team, coaches and mentors the whole time. I've never played the game of, I'll get a coach when. I mean, I always had coaches before I felt ready, coaches that would stretch me. And and then being honest with them around what I was struggling with meant that I always had that person, right, to help me navigate and strategies and rewrite and reframe. So I think that's been massively important. And then also realizing, which I think is so important, through our work of, say, coaching other people and building communities, is just knowing that we're not alone. And as you've just said, a lot of those things that I struggled with, I had shame around them, particularly the money stuff. When I really created some pretty significant messes, so to speak, around money and had to clean them up, there was a lot of shame around that. And oh my gosh, like I'm stupid. I knew I wasn't cut out for this.
Yes, right.
Right. Kind of like it was a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. And when I started to do the work around it, then I discovered again, I wasn't alone. I was putting a voice to it. So all of a sudden, this whole shame thing became hang on a minute, this wasn't your fault. Like you've never, ever been educated on this. And now we're shining the light on it. Now I've got a choice, right? Now we know I've got more awareness. I've got a choice. So I think, again, being around similar, like-minded people that are prepared to speak up, to normalize some of these things so that we're not, stuck in that corner thinking there's something wrong with us, has been massive.
I agree. It leads to isolation, and, we need each other. We need to share these stories and
absolutely
be seen for exactly what's going on and not have that shame. That's beautiful. What were the lessons you learned from all of that?
Gosh, so many. I mean, again, I think a lot of the struggles have been a far more human related struggles. For me, you know, we have a core philosophy in our Business Growth Academy that says your business will only grow by the amount that you're willing to grow yourself.
Yes.
And we've just seen it across the board. It's absolutely time and time again. Those people that aren't willing to, you know, think differently, expand their mindset, change who they're being, evolve who they're being, we just see that the businesses get stuck. So I think, you know, the biggest lessons for me have always been that most of the problems, the majority of problems are human related problems. They're not strategic. They're not business problems, so to speak, right? But again, when we can work through them on the personal level, so much easier to then apply the right strategy.
Yes.
Right, it really is. It's kind of like, let's get me straight here first. Like, strategies are easy. You know, I always say that strategies are like, they're not rocket science. You know, and there's no one perfect strategy either. But when we're not aligned, then nothing can work. Exactly. So I think that would be one major lesson. I would definitely say as well, we just can't do it all alone. Just before coming onto this podcast, I'm launching a brand new chapter of an organization called The Dames here in Phoenix, Scottsdale, for women that are already over 6 figures and 7 figures. And I just sent the message to the founder, Megan, and I said, I want to, you know, you were in my gratitude journal this morning. I have been wanting to collaborate with other powerful women and kind of calling that in. And I'm so grateful that you showed up in my life, because like, this is fun and we're playing together and we're creating something bigger. And for me, that's been another big lesson is I definitely in the early days, I thought I had to figure it all out. I thought, you know, I needed to know so much more than in practice I actually did need to know. You know, the truth is I need to know some of the bare bones of things, and then I hire other people, right, to fill in the gaps, like my amazing ops manager. You know, she's incredible. She's systems and processes. It's not really my thing, or certainly not my sweet spot. So I think that whole, you know, collaboration and really knowing that we can't do it alone. And then honestly, the other thing for me that's been really powerful over the years, and I'm sure you probably see this in your work as well, is you're working with people and or for yourself as well. And we kind of get beyond the obstacles, the kind of classic things that are in the way. And then all of a sudden, it's almost as if the road in front of us just gets bigger and bolder. And there's just so much more, like the destinations can become a lot more exciting. It's like, hey, we've dealt with some of this stuff. It's like, there's all of these other juicy things out there. Yeah. And that's the place that I'm really playing in now, is
that's fun.
That, you know, it's like what else is possible? I own the responsibility, you know, and my own accountability and the role that I have to play in this. But when I'm saying, yeah, what else is possible here? And I can create this. And what do I really want? And digging deep into desire. Yeah. And translating that into something practical, you know, in business and in life. Yeah. That's been a massive, massive lesson, and an exciting lesson, right? Like, wow, I can do this.
Yeah. It's like the magic of like, okay, I moved through and I was looking for this one thing, but look at all of this that came along. It's so fun.
It is, and it's true. It's really, it really becomes fun all of a sudden. It's like now it's like kind of more playful.
Yeah. So, what are you really passionate about right now? I hear your passion around this larger vision. Tell us a little bit about that. What is your vision?
Yeah. So, I mean, what's really in my heart is empowering women financially in business. That's really, for me, I feel like that is like our next level of freedom. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about freedom. We talk about a lot of freedom in the coaching world. I think most people don't actually have a clearly defined definition of even what freedom looks like for them. Yeah. Or otherwise they have some kind of, you know, messed up because we've seen it on social media and we kind of get this, well, freedom must look like that. But for me, freedom is, you know, freedom of self-expression, freedom of the work that you want to do, freedom of how you deliver, when you deliver, the types of people that you work with, the types of people that are on your team, you know, freedom to be you. And for me, if we can't be free financially, and really know that we can be the powerful creators of our financial futures, for me, that removes just a whole chunk of freedom.
Yes.
Because, it's not the money per se. It's not, necessarily the dollar bills or the pound notes or whatever that might be. There's the money gives us choices, right? And for me, choices give us freedom.
Exactly.
And that's really what it comes down to. So yes, at the end of the day, I know we all hear that there are so many women starting out in business and unprecedented numbers. The reality and the facts of that are the majority of women are not making money in their business. And those are facts. That's, that's not me making it up. It's barely 10% of women-owned businesses go over the 6-figure mark.
Yes.
You take out expenses and the cost of doing business and what you would want to pay yourself for the work you're doing. You quickly see, like, that's not financial empowerment. It's a milestone, and it's a significant milestone. So I don't want to play that down. But for me, really understanding our numbers, being able to command, higher fees, being able to pay ourselves. That's the other thing. Women, and again, I was guilty of that. I was guilty of the, I'll pay everybody else and I'll take care of everybody else, and what's left over, I'll pay me. Well, that's not good for my financial future, right? So again, we need to be really taking care of ourselves, making sure that we are standing on our own 2 financial feet, and frankly, creating the businesses that light us up. And that's the conversation that I want to be a part of. That's everything around that is where I want to be collaborating.
Awesome. That's so awesome. I love it so much. It's the future. And I love you're saying on our own 2 financial feet. Like, we own that reality that we're creating. We get to learn how to stand in it.
Yeah, and it's exciting. It really is. And I think the piece to that as well is, and again, I'm not the best person for quoting stats and things. I have to get my team to, like, what are the stats on this, and go do the research. But the reality is as well that women are far more generous and far more philanthropic than our male counterparts in business. And that is proven across the board. So again, for me, it makes sense. Like, when women are more successful financially, they give back more.
Yes.
Far more people benefit when women are successful.
Exactly. That's the future we're looking to.
And also changing, I think, again, bigger conversation. You hear that, like, I just love this conversation, but also changing the stereotypes that exist around women and success, because a lot of us, and I've certainly had to work through this a lot myself, we have scripting and programs and ideas of what we think it looks like to be a woman who's successful. And many of us, when we kind of look at that, we go, well, I don't want to be that woman. So we need better role models. We need more role models of women that are really being authentic.
Yes.
And again, being joyful and being free and being self-expressed and being unique. We need more examples of what that looks like so that we can get outside of the more traditional stereotypes.
Absolutely. That's why I'm doing this series.
Yes. It's like, break through those limits.
That's right. As you are growing, share with us, what's the best advice you've received?
Gosh, best advice. I mean, I honestly think because I've had so much good advice, over the years. That's why my head goes to which piece.
Yeah.
And I think probably, like, the best advice, which came to me fairly early on, and it did feel like, whoa, that seems like a random concept, and now I just live it, was, you are your best asset. Like, I'm the best asset to this business. You are the best asset to your business. And so investing in yourself,
yes,
as that best asset so that you can be your best to drive everything forwards. That used to be a foreign concept. I mean, that's not a concept that I actually grew up in. I mean, I grew up in concepts of, we get more qualifications, we get credentials, So that was definitely my family's mindset. But this notion that I would invest, in myself and my business through coaches and mentors and, writing a significant check in order to go to the next level. I mean, that was not something I grew up around.
Yeah.
And yet every time, I mean, again, now it is what I do, but every time I made those investments, always came back.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Always. And keeps giving, right? It's not even just in the time that you're working with that person, because it's just, for me, those are investments that just keep paying back time.
It's that growth you were talking about. You're investing in your own personal growth, and that's required if your business is going to grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of growth, what would you say the biggest personal growth experience you've had would be?
Oh gosh, these are just such great questions.
I know.
Oh,
Like looking back and sharing. I want to share with people, a lot of times I feel like the listeners of podcasts are looking for strategies, like you mentioned, ways and the how-tos. And what I really want to share with them is that it really is a personal growth experience. It's the biggest one you could ever sign up for.
Yeah.
And we're learning our way through. We're growing our way through. So that's why
I just love this question, because again, I think it's a brilliant question, and there is so much there. I think one of the things, and again, it's kind of what, I'm really playing with right now. And this was a massive mindset, which I think, again, will serve your audience as well, because I think it's, again, a classic one, was that in order to grow, I had to work so much harder, because I grew up with that working hard mindset and was validated for that. I was sensible. I was a hard worker. You can count on Vanessa, kind of that scripting, which is healthy until it's not, right? And a lot of my growth, especially, getting past that, let's say once I got to about 200,000 in revenue, getting past there, because I was working really, really hard up until then, like back to back, and Saturday mornings, and work was just spilling over all over the place, was what would it be like to grow a business whereby I was working less, having more fun, and actually generating more and making a bigger impact. When I say generating more, right, it's more financial freedom for myself, but for my team members, for the other people that we employ and work with. And I think that for me was a massive, massive breakthrough. At first, it was sort of like, well, that seems like a nice idea, but it was banging up against my own mindset of, well, it works fine for other people, but I can't see that can work for me. And then all of a sudden, when I was actually like living that and experiencing it, and like right now we're kind of playing this game with our own clients of how can we get you results quicker? Like what we previously did in a year, we're now trying to see if we can get you there in 100 days.
Yes.
Right. So it's like we're starting to compress time, and we're doing that. We're getting amazing results with our clients. Together, it's a partnership. I don't say that I'm the coach. That it's all for me. It's co-created, and here I am 6 days a week on the tennis court.
Good for you. It's so perfect.
Right. So even my husband was like, wow, like you are seriously relaxed these days. You are playing a lot of tennis and you are loving business. I said, yeah, that's what I wanted. But
that's what you designed. That's what you decided. That's how
exactly. And it was though a big personal breakthrough, right? To, as you say, like those big shifts that you have to make. Because it's one thing, the idea, for me, I want the real life experience of it happening for me. And then I know, wow, this is really, this is absolutely possible because we're living it.
That's awesome. So let's talk about some tools and resources. So what kind of tools, gadgets, what do you use that makes your life easier?
I got a couple of favorites. Voxer is definitely one of my favorites. It's kind of like almost like a little walkie-talkie app. I love that. I hate email. I still use email, but my dream is that one day soon I won't be doing email at all and team will just do it. I do not too much of it, fortunately, these days. And in fact, the strategy of getting me out of email was moving the whole team to Slack. Yeah. So we have Slack as our communication tool, which removed a ton of email. And I love that. You know, I'm a quick start, Colby quick start, if anybody knows what that means. And so quick to the point works really, really well for me. So I think those two have really revolutionized our communication channels. What other ones would be? Pipedrive is another tool that I love for tracking leads and sales conversions. And it's like, I don't know, it's now $9 or $11 a month. A great way for us to, you know, build those pipelines and be tracking everything and staying on top. Those are like probably my 3 really strong go-tos. Oh, as well as the other one I would add as well. Actually, it's a new tool that I've been absolutely loving, more on the, say, personal development, is the 5-minute journal. I love it. I am doing that every morning. It's called the 5-minute journal.
Oh, I love that. I don't know about it, but I drink every morning, so I'll check it out.
Check it out, Patty. And you literally start the day with, what am I grateful for? There's a little quote. What am I grateful for? What 3 things would make today amazing? And then an affirmation. And then at night, you can actually look back and sort of say, like, what was I grateful for today? And I absolutely love it. It's the most consistent I've ever been with journaling.
That's great. We'll put all the links in the show notes, you guys. So if you want to check these out for yourselves, you can just head over to the show notes and just head over to pattykeating.com and you can search Vanessa Shaw and the show notes will be right there. It'll also be on the page there. So what about resources like books or podcasts, blogs? What are you reading, listening to?
Kind of like, what am I not? It's easier. So I am a massive Brené Brown fan. I absolutely devour everything of hers. I just love her wisdom, her insights. So her podcast, all of her books. I am going through again diligently through Dare to Lead right now. And again, I love kind of the emotional wisdom and the insights that she brings and the distinctions. I just think she's amazing.
Yes.
I forget what her name is. It's Farnoosh, and I've forgotten the Farnoosh. If people look that up as a podcast, I think it's So Money. Really great. And it's more about practical strategies with money. And I love the way she interviews and so many questions around things like 401k or preparing for the future or should I downsize or when is the best time? So just getting very grounded from a female perspective as well.
Nice.
And then another one, again, I do consume a lot. So, podcasts and good writing. I have absolutely loved recently Glennon Doyle's new book, Untamed. Again, I don't know if you've come across that one, Patty.
I haven't read it. I've seen it's on my radar.
Okay, yeah, definitely dial it close into the radar.
Okay.
It's actually a very easy read. I love the style of writing, and she's kind of got it in little short vignettes of stories.
Oh, nice.
But again, so much around the scripting from her perspective of, what we believe, how we believe we should be growing up as women, and, how we've been kind of tamed by society. And she's just got some amazing metaphors.
Great.
So I've been, really loving her.
We'll put that in the show notes too. We'll put it all in the show notes.
There's good stuff here. There's lots of good stuff. I'm sharing these all with my daughter, and they've been even like Untamed. I actually bought the book for, my daughter and some of her friends. Because I was like, this has been amazing for me at my age.
Yeah.
I'd love to have it sooner.
Okay, so if you're looking back, if you were to do this all over again, what would you tell your younger self?
I think that one's really obvious. I would say, get out of your own way, trust yourself, and frankly, do it quicker. There would be a sense of that. Now, I also do believe that there's timing. Things do happen for a reason, and sometimes, there's timing for things. Yeah, looking back, honestly, when I do look at there was those times of self-doubt and internalizing things too much. Sometimes, I think sometimes speed can really be our friend and we forget that. Building momentum and speed can actually really help bypass some of that negative stuff.
Yes.
It really
We need
does.
time to overthink everything.
Yeah, we're not over ruminating on things, or going into analysis paralysis. So yes, that's probably would be the go girl, trust yourself. When the desire is strong enough, that's got to be the sign. Go for it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And you guys check her out. She's amazing, bringing lots of great things into the world.
Thank you, Patty.
Hello and welcome. I'm recording this episode from my home office during self-quarantine as we were all asked to stay home due to the coronavirus. If you like what you hear and you'd like to hear more, please join me in my Facebook group. It's called The Unleashed Entrepreneurs. You can search that on Facebook. Come on over. It's a community of thriving entrepreneurs making a difference in the world, doing what they love, and changing lives. Hope to see you there. Enjoy the show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have you ever wondered what you could do to make your own business and grow it online? Head on over to pattykeating.com and take the entrepreneur code. You'll discover your unique value, your personality style, and how you can combine those two into a thriving business that helps people and lets you make money doing what you love. I'll see you there. Bye for now.